Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. We got another ASL pseudo preview here for you. This is a couple players that are going to be playing very, very soon. Maybe even already played by the time this video comes out. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get it published. But a couple players that are playing in Group D of the ASL Season 12. This is going to be HyuN versus Barracks. HyuN versus Barracks. And I actually don't know either. I think that's Barracks right there. That's got to be Barracks. Yeah, okay. Because I actually kind of know what HyuN looks like. But for a second I was like, wait a minute, which one is that? Do I recognize him? Yeah, there's HyuN. His name is actually HyuN. Not HyuN. I think I probably pronounced it HyuN in the past, but now that I know how to pronounce Korean, I can look at his Korean name, and it is actually HyuN. So there you go. His full name, by the way, Go Suk HyuN. That's his name. Anyway, he's gonna be the Zerg player. If you weren't aware of HyuN being a Zerg player, Barracks. I guess he probably could have inferred that like Barracks is the Terran player, right? Since his name is Barracks. But anyway, interesting matchup here today, guys. HyuN, if you're not aware of these guys, this is from, let me place this. This is from 2010, by the way. April of 2010. And we got a nice little oops, sorry about that. I think it's a Proleague game. Yeah, there we go, Proleague. And between KT and NBC, HyuN is playing for NBC game. So, but anyway, yeah, what I was gonna say is HyuN was a very like I'm looking at his record right now, and he got like top 40. Like he never got to the round of 16 even in any of these Star Leagues, but he got into 6 or 7 or 8 Star Leagues back in the day. So he got into like the round of 28, round of 30. He got into the group stage like over and over again, and just was never able to get out of the group stage, you know? So he was a player that was very, very solid, and you know, a player that was able to you know, perform well in the Pro League for his team, etc., but just never had that much personal success. Now, Barracks, on the other hand, is kind of a no-namer, right? He just, you know, he just never really did. I mean, like, whereas HyuN got to the round of 32 at least, Barracks never really did anything. Okay, I'm actually looking at his record now. He did actually get into the group stage of the Ever OSL once, and lost to Jongbi. So, but again, a decent player. I would say HyuN has the advantage here in this situation in 2001. So we'll see how this goes. Fast forward to the modern day, and you know, both players kind of in a similar position. Barracks is a guy who, again, got into the group stage of the ASL season 11. So here he is trying again this season to get in there. But he hasn't had too much super success and anything else. The best he did was last year in the ASL season 9. He got to the round of 16. So, you know, which isn't bad. It's not too bad at all. Whereas HyuN has basically done the same thing. He actually he hasn't even done as well in recent ASLs, I would say. He was in the round of 8 of the Sanpo Star League, which was not terribly that doesn't say a lot necessarily. But anyway, point being, like I said, I've been doing these ASL background games just to kind of, because it's fun to like see the players that are playing now, how they played back in the old days, right? And so I want to just give a little context for them while the game is heating up. And of course, these players have been building units and buildings, and I haven't been mentioning it because you guys can see it, and there hasn't been too eventful, so we're just kind of powering up into this game. But two much lesser known players that we're gonna get to check out here a little bit before they go into the ASL game pretty soon. It's interesting, he brought those Marines up to try and kill Overlord, and he's like, nah, I better go defend the front line, I guess. I think that was for Gigi they just showed for a moment there. Was that for Gigi? I could be wrong. Other than that, it was once known as Frog V. In any case, so I'm be curious to see how they perform in the ASL. You know, it's a really interesting situation where you actually do have some of these players who were mediocre pro league bench warmers on these top rate teams back in the Kespa days, and some of them now are some of the best players, you know, in the ASL days. And so, you know, you never know who's going to come up and, you know, like a player like Larva. And Larva never did anything back in the Kespa days, right? I don't think so. I'm going to have to look it up now just because I'm curious. But, like, you know, Larva was not a great player back in the day, and now here he is an ASL champion. So, yeah, I'm looking back now. Yeah, he did basically nothing. I don't see him even listed in the round 32 in any games back in the Kespa days. So, like not even group stage. So he was terrible back in the day, and now he's ASL champion. So just goes to show you that the older players can step it up, and that's partly maybe due to the fact that the competition has thinned out a bit over the years. There's just not as many people playing StarCraft at this highest level. But anyway, Mutalisks are out. We've got 2 hatch mutas going on, or 2 base mutas at least. Actually, is that a 3rd base over the left side of the map? It's hard to tell. They're going to show it right now. Yeah, 3rd base just building. So a lot of defenses in place. We got a very fast expansion here by Barracks, and he's doing a pretty good job of defending. He's got plenty of turrets. I like this little wall here with the turret behind it. It's cute. It was especially cute against the Zerglings. Sometimes they'll send in Zerglings to try and kill the turrets, and then they'll be able to attack more with the Mutalisks or something like that. So it's a smart move. Makes it a little bit harder to actually defend that turret and those depots with the Marines, but that's okay. They're serving their purpose, and I don't think he's going to do enough damage to actually take down those depots. If he takes down the turret, it's not that big of a deal, and he will, in fact, take down this turret. It looks like. Yep, he does get the last shot on there, and now he's actually glaving the depots, possibly in an attempt to hit the Marines, actually. And he actually, I was just saying, I don't think he's going to actually take out the depots, but they're just ripe targets, you know? They're just, like, right there, standing out in the open with a target on their back. And so he's actually just like, well, I'll take some free hits there, because it's too difficult to get in amongst the turret line to get onto the other, you know, more valuable targets. But if you can get a free depot, it's free real estate. You know? So, doing some significant harassment here. We do see that Barracks has a lot of bio, and he's kind of starting to push out a little bit here, to see what he can accomplish. I think it looks like he wants to, kind of start putting some pressure onto HyuN. And, HyuN has Hydro South now, so it looks like he actually might have Lurker Tech up already, or imminently. So it looks like he's delayed long enough with these Mutalisks. That's kind of the... Oh, ooh, that was not good. That was like 3 or 4 free mutas. Now that shuts down his ability to harass these Marines as they're making their way across the map. Is that going to mean that he's not going to be delayed long enough? He might actually be able to get up this ramp before the Lurkers are in place. He's going to morph a Lurker Egg on the ramp to protect the one up the ramp. Morph it! There's the Lurker Egg. Nice. And it's actually pretty low hit points because he morphed it a little bit late, but it's enough. It's enough to block that ramp. Wow. That was so close timing. So close. I wonder if he even would have had more success going after the natural expansion because there's no ramp there, but geez, that was clutch timing by HyuN. You know, he almost messed that up. By losing those Mutalisks, suddenly the Marines were like, all right, well, we can just do whatever we want now. And they were able to make their way across the map without worrying too much because half the mutas were dead and more were injured. So just flying those mutas over the Marines was a big mistake and almost cost him a lot. But in the end, the previous Mutalisk harass, which was very effective, was enough to slow Barracks down and whittle him down his force enough that he was able to not feel confident moving onto the map quick enough. And again, just delaying long enough to get those lurkers out. There's the NBC game coach, by the way, looking a little bit concerned. Although I feel like HyuN is in a good spot right now. But we'll see. He does have the lurkers out, and you know it's it's funny how like sometimes the Zerg strategy is just delay until you can get the next tech, which delays more, which until you get the next tech, which delays more, until you can just get hive tech in multiple bases and just win by having just being massive basically. You know, so that might be kind of what he's looking at here. I don't think like it doesn't look so far like HyuN is planning on mass. Sometimes Zerg players will mass units off 3 bases, but it feels like that's not what's going on there. Did he just kill his own Marine? I think he just killed his own Marine there. I think he was trying to attack move at the mutas that were attacking that Marine and accidentally just clicked that Marine. That's my theory there. Anyway, this map is Roadrunner, by the way. I probably should have talked about that earlier, but Roadrunner, let's get a quick peek at it real quick here. You've got a lot of bridges, a lot of ramps and bridges around this map, which it can be good for Terran in some situations, but in this case, it's actually very good for the Zerg to be able to plant those lurkers. And you can see there's the neutral depots as well. That we saw in what was the other game I did the other day that was on this map actually. But so we do see Barracks kind of killing off those neutral depots, which is interesting because I feel like you might, I don't know actually. Sometimes you want more of a choke point as the Terran, and sometimes you actually want more space to move about. If you're dealing with lurkers and swarms, you actually want more space to move out because then you can dodge the swarms in different directions. And so clearing out those neutral depots in the middle kind of makes sense in that sense, for the situation that he's kind of coming up onto right here. That medic, what are you doing, medic? Get back with the squad. Medic, where are you going? I guess that medic is just scouting. It's on scouting duty. It's checking out that other bridge to make sure nothing comes on the other way. But he does have a few siege tanks now. So again, this is a situation where now HyuN is in a little bit of trouble. He's got these sunken colonies up. He's got a lot of lurkers, but with a vessel and tanks, the lurkers are going to go down very quickly. And so he's just kind of trying to delay long enough to probably get Dark Swarm out. Or, as we saw earlier, and I didn't mention it, but I noted it, the Greater Spire is morphing right now. And he's actually going to go in before that. Lurkers alone. Just, what is it? Whoa, no, that did not. Oh, now he got a, why didn't he wait like 3 more seconds for the Dark Swarm? Man, he just ran his lurkers in, lost like 4 lurkers for free, then backed them off because they weren't accomplishing anything. The 2 that remained, and but finally gets some Dark Swarms out. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe he just wanted to keep him back. He sacrificed 4 lurkers just to keep him across those bridges, so he could get a Dark Swarm on the bridge and defend a little bit more effectively. It might have been the strategy there. I'm not sure, but HyuN does have Dark Swarm out now. He does have the Defilers. He's got Consume upgraded, so he can start eating Zerglings and getting whatever he wants down onto the map. Getting his spells down on the map, I guess what I mean. Yeah, so HyuN's in good shape now, but ooh, nice pick off there. Very, very nice. That was a big blow actually to Barracks. But we saw the Greater Spire, didn't we? What, am I crazy? I mean, I am crazy, but am I crazy for having thought that there was a Greater Spire? There's some nice Dark Storms. He can get all up on top of this, but I was going to force him back from the edge of the bridge, out into open territory, very far away from his expansion, so he's kind of feel a lot safer. Some Marines coming in the side here, just going to take some free hits from these lurkers. Nice swarm there. Waiting until the Marines were actually paying attention before casting the swarm, just so he got a little bit more mileage out of that swarm. If you cast it too early, then it, you know, goes away earlier, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so this is turning into kind of an interesting game. Barracks is still on 2 bases, though, is a very important part of this. HyuN on 4 bases, Barracks on 2, and just as I say that, we see that he's actually transferring to the 3rd base, so he's going to be on 3 in a moment. Is he on a 4th base? Actually, up in the top left of the map as well. Nice, running in with these irradiates. He's got a couple. He's had some Scourge out on the map. He's doing a decent job of keeping Scourge around, but at the moment, the vessels are pretty safe. Don't see any right now. He's keeping them near his Marines as well. He really wants to irradiate the Defiler. Those 2 vessels are like just chomping at the bit, just like, oh, give us the energy. Oh, where's the energy? I want to radiate it. So bad. But instead they're just hovering over the top, just being spooky. But HyuN defending with the swarms again, pushing out onto that bridge. Bridges are so good to defend with defilers. I'm sorry, well, defilers and I meant to say lurkers, but lurkers and defilers, for obvious reasons, I guess. So okay, he is building a 4th base up in the upper left, so it's not completed yet, but it's going to be up very soon. So actually, that's pretty good because his main, he probably transferred all of his workers from the main that was mined out to that 3rd, and now he's going to be able to transfer the mined out natural to the 4th pretty soon. HyuN trying to get a 5th up is going to get shut down pretty quickly. Now that does mean that Barracks' force is kind of off in the middle of nowhere up in the top left. Is this going to be an opportunity for HyuN to actually do some sort of a counterattack? Looks like he's not planning on it. Looks like he still just wants to play defense and get that 5th base up. He might be thinking about taking the 7 o'clock position. Now moving out into the map a little bit here though. Again, you know, he can put down the Dark Swarm and do an attack, but Barracks just has so much room to maneuver in that middle. Now here on these ridges, it's a little bit less room to maneuver, and he's actually pushing into that 3rd base, trying to get some damage down. This is what I was kind of hoping he would try to do, is go after that 3rd base while the force of Barracks is up in the top left. Barracks pushing into the top left base, though, that's that 2nd natural, I guess, and doing some decent damage, but again, 1 Dark Swarm goes down, and he just does not have the tank firepower with that top left army to push that down and actually kill things off with those lurkers there. I'm surprised he didn't have irradiates though ready to go to kill those lurkers to be able to push in there. If he just had 2 or 3 more irradiates, actually, he would have killed those lurkers and been able to look at this, anticipating the swarm, but not the plague. Plague on everything. Oh, beautiful play. And he actually manages to pick off the Scourge. Nice juking there, so he saved a couple vessels. But the Plague hit all of the bio, all of the vessels. And it takes 2 Scourge to kill a vessel normally. But if they've been plagued, even if they're not at 1 hit point yet, if the Plague is still doing its magic, it's literal actual magic, I guess. Or, well, I guess Plague isn't magic, it's disease, which is, yeah, I don't know. It's a spell, right? You could call it a spell. There's the Guardians, the Greater Spire coming in to use 10 minutes later. But anyway, he hit all the bio and all the vessels there. But what point being that a single if you get the vessel down slightly with the Plague, it'll die to a single Scourge, because the Scourge are doing a lot more than 1 hit point worth of damage. So here he comes into that 3rd again, though. He's got Ultralisk. There's the Defiler. Is he going to be able to put down a swarm? He puts down 2 swarms in pretty nice locations before the Defiler actually dies. And he's coming up into the 4th base as well with a swarm on the ramp to get up the ramp. And Zergling's getting a little bit confused there, but the Ultralisk is going to escort them up, and the Swarm is going to let them get through that little blockade into the 4th. So beautiful play. Did he just plague all of his own Zerglings? I'm not sure what happened there, but he must have been trying to plague some Marines, and he plagued all of his Zerglings as a result. It looks like the 4th base is going to go down at the top left. Barracks is going to be able to keep his 3rd base at the right side for the moment, but it may just be only a moment that it's actually going to be able to survive, because we got more Ultras Inlings powering into that location. Where's the Defiler, though? Without a Defiler, he may be able to defend this. Barracks has a chance of defending this, since it doesn't look like there are Defilers. He's got vessels in play as well. He's going to be able to irradiate all these Ultras. He's actually going to irradiate a vessel and eraser the Zerglings. Very nicely done. He's going to have to lift there and retreat for a moment, but he's actually killed off most of the Zerglings, so I think he's going to probably be able to... He needs to be careful he's not irradiating his own Marines as well, but he might be able to fight back there. But maybe not. The Ultras are still in amongst these extra factories on the side, doing damage. The Swarm's going to wear off in a minute, but in the meantime, this is not looking good. I like that single Ling just running over there, just to put down, just to chill underneath the command center, maybe to make sure he can't land it again and start doing anything. 1 single Zergling stopping an entire base from operating. Pretty clutch hero Zergling there. More Ultras barreling in here, and notice these Ultras are not in the 3rd, they're past the 3rd, which means the 3rd is still breached. Crackling's coming in here to do major damage to this factory. Is going to force a lift there, which is going to slow down the tank production, which is what he needs to deal with these Ultralisks. So I think that is just a matter of time until HyuN wins. There's the lift on the extra command center as well. So now Barracks is down to just his natural mining, which is nearly mined out, and he is getting overrun. HyuN has gotten the 5th base up and running in the bottom left area of the map. I think he's probably going for a 6th base as well. And 6th base Zerg versus 2 base Terran is not where you want to be as the Terran player. He's getting a lot of radiates down. The Scourge have not been keeping play. He's been using all of his gas for these heavy-duty Ultralisks and what have you. So he's not keeping up with the Scourge production, so the Science Vessel count is getting very, very high. Okay, just as I say that, a couple Scourge run in here, but it's like 2 Scourge versus like 8 vessels. Not going to be enough. He actually even saves it with the turret there. So the Radiates are at least pretty strong. He's got a lot of them available. He's got a ton of vessels. But having that many vessels, it does not matter unless you have the Bioforce to support it. The vessels are crucial in the late game because... yeah, there you can see the look on his face. He is not happy about the situation. He's he kind of that's what I call the face GG. I don't usually call it that, actually. I've never called that before in my life, but now I'm gonna call it face GG. That's the face GG right there, where you can see it in their face that they haven't actually typed the letters GG yet, but you can see it in their face that they know that they've lost. And so that's the face GG from Barracks right there, coming out. He's desperately trying to defend here. I mean, his SCVs are distance mining through a Zergling swarm. They're running past the Zerglings to get minerals and trying to get back in the base. There's the actual GG coming from Barracks. Unfortunate for him, but well done by HyuN. Just very, very effective play there. I thought early on that Barracks was going to take it. HyuN made that mistake with the Mutalisks. Barracks had a nice... Ooh, nice ceremony there. It's a little tiny little mini cutthroat, but the facial expression made it work. Anyway, yeah, I thought with the early loss of those Mutalisks and it was gonna lose him enough map control, but HyuN just barely got his lurkers up in time to kind of defend that situation. I don't know if we can even find that moment. It's a little bit later than this, but really clutch play, putting the Hydralisk on the ramp, having one lurker making, and then putting the Hydralisk on the ramp so that he can I don't know where. Looks like I missed it. Yeah, or I missed it. Anyway, I don't have to spend too much time looking for it. But point being, it was a really clutch play by HyuN, and that just bought him the time that he needed to stretch out the game farther and take the late game. You know, and he did exactly kind of what I was saying before, where he used the Mutas to delay for the lurkers. He used the lurkers to delay for the 4th base and the Dark Swarm. He used the Dark Swarm and the lurkers to delay for the massive economy and Ultralisk tech in the end game. And he used that to delay until Barracks' soul was crushed enough that he left the game. And that was all she wrote. So anyways, cool little game here. Again, these guys... Probably not either of them, or neither of them are favorites at all to actually go too far in the ASL, but it's kind of fun to see that these two players that played ages ago playing again in the ASL. Now, they're just in the same group, actually. Maybe I should have specified that earlier. They're in the same group. They're not necessarily going to play. They may end up playing against each other. If they both win their first match, or they both lose their first match, they'll both play against each other, and they could end up in the final match, of course, as well. So they may be playing against each other, but they also got Soma, who's a very, very good Zerg player. You know, is kind of a strong contender, actually, for potentially, like, Soma is more likely to get to the finals. And also Mong is in the group, who I don't know very much about, but he's been doing, I guess, okay in recent couple years or something like that, but don't know much about him, honestly. But anyway, so best of luck to HyuN and Barracks, I guess, in their group stage. And hope you guys enjoyed this game. See, yeah, there's the Greater Spire. I wasn't crazy. He made the Greater Spire at 3 bases. And he just didn't use it for the whole game. Guess deciding... I mean, just hitting the G button on the Greater Spire isn't that big of an investment, so... Guess he just decided that other units were going to be more worth his time. And gas. More the gas than the time. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG, take care, and we'll catch you next time.